What's up, my Century United? It's the Sentiment here, so back again with another classic WWE pay-per-view review. Before we get to the pay-per-view review, I did a voting poll on my community tab what classic WWE pay-per-view you want me to review when I came back from my break, Payback 2016 or Backlash 2006, and the winner is Backlash 2006. So we're traveling back into the mid-2000s WWE in the Ruthless Aggression era. So this show was at the Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky on the 30th of April 2006. The attendance of the show was 14,000. Backlash 06 received about 273,000 pay-per-view buys, downgrading the previous year's Backlash show from 2005. That show drawed about 320,000 pay-per-view buys. The main event of that show was Batista versus Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship, the WrestleMania 21 rematch. So the commentators for Backlash 06, we got JR and the King. This is the final single branded Backlash until 2016, because the following year in 07 they did the trio show Backlash. That was a Raw, SmackDown, ECW Backlash show, because the reason why they did the trio branded Backlash the following year, because in late 06 and early 07 they decided to stop doing single branded pay-per-views, because there's two reasons for me. I think one of the reasons, because that horrifying show in late 06, ECW, December to December 2006, and the other one, maybe they just don't have like a deep enough roster to do single brand pay-per-views. Yeah, they decided to bring back the brand only pay-per-views 10 years later in the second brand split and get rid of it again. That's another story for another time. So anyway, so let's do a quick result on Heat. The only match on Heat before Backlash, we got Goldust defeating Rob Conway, former member of La Resistance. I think at this moment in time, La Resistance was officially no more. Anyway, so Goldust defeat Rob Conway in 3 minutes and 38 seconds. I never knew that Goldust is wrestling in WWE. I know he had, I think it was an on and off appearance in WWE. He wrestled in back and forth in WWE and TNA in those early to mid 2000s. I never knew that he's still wrestling in the WWE in 2006. Yeah, he's still in the WWE in 2006. My apologies. What I'm fucking thinking. Yeah, he was in TNA for a bit. Then he was there in 06. Then the following year in 2007. He inducted his father, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, into the WWE Hall of Fame, and that's the reason why Cody's, got signed with the company. And then he went back to TNA as Black Reign, came back to the WWE as Goldust. I think, I think it was around like 2008ish. He came back, it's on and off appearances for Dustin Rhodes, Goldust in WWE in those 2000s. He did it in WCW in those mid to late 90s. On and off appearance in WCW and the WWF. Anyway, so that's the match on Heat. So the first match to kick off Backlash 06, we got Carlito taking on the Masterpiece Chris Masters. Both of them used to be in a tag team. I use a phrase head cheese, head cheese tag teams, because of, in the Attitude Era, Al Snow and Steve Blackman, head cheese tag team is basically you got two wrestlers with random gimmicks, paired in a tag team for no reason. Because you had Carlito is this Puerto Rican dude with an afro, spitting his opponents with apples. Chris Masters, he's this big bodybuilding dude. He does the Master Lock, that is head cheese booking, and a head cheese tag team, if you don't know, look it up. I'm gonna say again, head cheese tag teams is basically you got two guys with random gimmicks pairing up as a tag team for whatever reason. Anyway, so what the build to this, why they're fighting on the pay-per-view. There were a tag team, I think, were the last three of the Elimination Chamber match at New Year's Resolution 2006 in January of that year, early that year. So the build up to this, you had Carlito turning on Chris Masters, hitting him with the back cracker. That was soon to become the backstabber. Then that was, I think it was the Raw after WrestleMania 22. And then, a few weeks later, after Carlito, he's turned babyface, attack Matt Striker on this teacher segment on Raw. Masters attacked Carlito. I think he locked him with the Master Lock. Anyway, Chris Masters, man, good look. He's a big bodybuilding dude. Like, I think he's trying to be. Here's my like theories. Some people find like Chris Masters, he's this Lex Luger ripoff. He's ripping off the narcissist gimmick when Lex Luger had in the 90s. But no, I think he fits that gimmick pretty damn well. But as a wrestler, he's not that. I'll get to more of that shortly, man. But anyway, so the match I think it was a decent match. I'm not saying this is a 4-star classic. If I give this a rating, I give it like a star rating. I give it like 3 stars. I think it was a decent match. Like one more of the match. Carlito trying to lock Chris Masters with his own Master Lock. Yeah, that is a really good submission hold. The Master Lock. Anyway, so. Like, he hit Masters with, I think it was a springboard coffin drop. Didn't really call it a coffin drop, but I refer the coffin drop because coffin drop is Darby Allin's finisher in AEW. He hit the springboard coffin drop onto Chris Masters. Then, minutes later, I think he hit Masters with a moonsault. Anyway, so I feel like the one more of the match, I thought like Carlito is going to hit, not hit, but going to spit the apple in the face of Chris Masters, but unfortunately that's not the case. He kind of throw the apple over the head of Chris Masters. I think that's completely stupid, but anyway, I don't want to get into it. Anyway, so in the end, Carlito hit Chris Masters with the backcracker that soon become the backstabber. And when the referee did the 3 count, Carlito put his foot on the ropes without the referee noticing to win this match. So the match was fun. It was on about almost 10 minutes. It wasn't boring. I think it was a fun match to kick off the pay-per-view. So anyway, so yeah, Chris Masters, man. Like, it's a shit. They don't know what they did with him. It's a shame for Chris Masters in his 2 runs in WWE. His real name is Chris. I'm gonna butcher this dude's name. Chris Modiensky. He was young at the time. He was about 23 years of age. In his run in WWE, he never won a single championship. It's a shame. Yeah, he was. In the WWE title picture. Against John Cena. This was a Master Lock challenge for the WWE Championship. So. But the problem is, I think he's not really that good in the ring, Like, there's theories that, some people don't like Chris Masters. He's kind of like this Lex Luger ripoff because of the narcissist gimmick he's doing. But, like I said, you got... It's a shame in one Ultimate Universe, that could be a dream match, Lex Luger, Chris Masters, the narcissist, total package versus the masterpiece. But, yeah, the problem with Chris Masters, man... I don't think he's not really a good athlete. The one move he stands out for him, that is the Master Lock. It's a really good submission hold. That's really inspired what Bobby Lashley's doing right now with the Hurt Lock. Because Bobby Lashley's the only guy who broke the Master Lock by Chris Masters. Go and watch it. He broke the Master Lock. And that's the reason why Bobby Lashley's doing the submission hold. And also, before we get to the next match, I heard like the reason why he's doing it. I think he did an interview with Chris Van Lay that it was pitched the idea by Arn Anderson. Anyway, but yeah, he wasn't really that great in the ring. He's there for he's a big body building type dude. But besides that, as like a good athlete. Nah, I don't think he's a good. He's okay, but he's not. I think he's a bit too green. He's just not. He's like I said. The only move stands out for him is the Master Lock. But besides that, he's just not really a good wrestler. To get in that high. They only push him because of his size. I'm stumbling, but speaking like a broken record ball. I'm trying to get my points across. If you like Chris Masters, that's your opinion. I don't mind Chris Masters, but like as an on-ring like a wrestler in the ring, he's just like doesn't do nothing for me. Besides of the master lock he used in his matches. Anyway, so let's move on to the next match. So the next match, we've got the debut of Umaga. We'll get to that shortly with Armando Alejandro Estrada. I'm not doing what John Cena do in his promos in his rivalry with Umaga in late 06, early 07. I think it was early 07. Yeah, Umaga's taking on Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. So yeah, this is the first pay-per-view match and appearance of the Samoan Bulldozer Umaga. This is the first pay-per-view match as a new character, because he was in the WWE before as Jamal, one half of 3 Minute Warning, teaming up with Rosie. Rosie's the late brother of Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. He was in WWE before, and then I think he left the company in 2003. I think it was a report of he got fired in 2003 because he was got involved in a bar fight. He had a cup of coffee in TNA before, and in Japan in All Japan Pro Wrestling, AJPW. I'm trying hard to really pronounce it. I know it's All Japan Pro Wrestling anyway. So that was like 03 to 2005. Now he came back to the company as Umaga. This savage Samoan like big brute. I'm trying to describe Umaga, the build up to this, the Raw after WrestleMania. He attacked Ric Flair. That's basically his first match in his second run in the company as Umaga. He was Jamal before. If you don't, let me remind you. Jamal in 2002, 2003 WWE before he got released due to he got involved in the bar fight. Wrestling in Japan, wrestling in TNA, and then he's back as Umaga. Anyway, this match was okay. It was only 3 minutes long. It was 3 minutes long. It's not going to be like a 4-star classic, Wasn't a terrible match. It's a way to put over Umaga. In the end, Umaga hit Ric Flair with the Samoan spike for the win. Ric Flair at this moment in time, after his it's funny, like after the end of the Evolution days of Raw, after Evolution was disbanded, after his feud with Triple H, he was the Intercontinental Champion during his feud with Triple H in late 05. He dropped the IC title to Shelton Benjamin, I think. You could tell that Ric Flair is starting to wind down his career until losing to Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 24 2 years later in 2008. He was not really doing that much. His way to put over talents like I think he put over Kenny Dykstra. I think I'm not too sure on it. Like he was kind of like winding his career down. I think for the best. Umaga didn't do much. It's a shame for Umaga, man. They really dropped the ball on him. He ended up losing to Cena. I think he was IC champion for a bit, but never caught fire. I don't know, man. I don't want to get into about Umaga, man. He's just like this. It's really a shame that he's no longer with us. He died in late 09. I think he was in his mid-30s, man. But it's tragic. But anyway, so yeah, it's a way to put over Umaga. Ric Flair ended up feuding with Mick Foley in the summer, then teaming up with Roddy Piper, and then he was kind of like like I said, he was kind of like winding his career downwards, So let's move on to the next match. So the next match, this is a WrestleMania 22 rematch. Mickie James defending the WWE Women's Championship against Trish Stratus. Mickie defeat Trish for the title at WrestleMania 22, because at the time Mickie was doing the Psycho gimmick. The match was, it started to be like, I almost give it like 2 stars, but this was not a good match. Here's the moment, like. One more of the match. Before that, Trish, blow Mickie a kiss, and then Mickie was going after Trish, but Trish did like some Matrix moves. I think Trish is very flexible. That was cool to see. I think she did like the Matrix move, then you hit Mickie James with the Hurricane Rana. Anyway, so one more of the match, Trish was punching Mickie in the corner of the ropes. Then Mickey tipped Trish out of the ring, and then Trish landed awkward on her arm. She suffered a dislocated shoulder. Anyway, so in the end, they called an audible. She called it audible. I'm trying to Sorry, I'm getting tongue tied. By the way, yeah, called an audible on this match. Mickey choked Trish with a wristband. It was some black. I thought it was some kind of black bit thing. I looked on Wikipedia. It was one of Trish's wristband. So Mickey choked Trish with the wristband, and the match ended in disqualification. Mickey retained the women's title. So yeah, it's funny. It's really funny that the previous year's Backlash, in 2005, I think she got injured by the hands of Viscera. I think she injured her back. She came back in the summer. This is similar to this situation in 2006. When she got hurt by Mickie James. It was an accident. She fell awkwardly out of the ring. The injury was short term. She came back in the summer. She ended up losing once again by Mickie James. Then she went on to win the women's title for the final time in her career against Lita at Unforgiven, and that was the last time she won the women's title in her career before retirement. That was a lot of crock of shit, man. But Trish to this day still wrestling. He wrestled over the years, as a part-time wrestler. I think. No, Lita is the women's tag team champion with Becky Lynch. I thought it wasn't Trish. It was Leah was the women's tag team champion with Becky in our current timeline. It was not Trish, but anyway, like I said, it was okay. It was bad for Trish's injury. Accident can happen. If the match worked out differently, I'll probably give it 2 stars. I feel like it was getting a bit slow. It's starting to pick up into the second gear, and then Trish got hurt, and that was it. Anyway, let's move on to the next match. This is a banger, man. This is the second or the best match of the night. It's one of the best matches of the show. This is title versus contract. So this match is for the Intercontinental Championship and the Money in the Bank briefcase. Rob Van Dam, the Money in the Bank holder, defending his Money in the Bank briefcase against Shelton Benjamin. He's also defended the IC Championship. Shelton won the belt from Ric Flair. I think it was Ric Flair at New Year's Resolution 2006, a show I reviewed in the past. Yeah, I did review that show because at the time was in late 06, beginning parts of 2006. My apologies. Shelton was doing this storyline with his mama. It wasn't really actually his mama. It was some actress playing Shelton Benjamin's mama. Thea Visdal. I'll look it up. I think it's called Thea. I can't really pronounce her name properly. My apologies. I think it's called Thea Visdad. It was really a stupid storyline for Shelton Benjamin. It didn't really do anything. I don't think you could say it's kind of hurt his credibility a bit, but I think at the time he was not really doing anything. Anyway, so yeah, Thea, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, Thea Fisdale. So my apologies. So yeah, Shelton Benjamin was doing this storyline with her mom in the beginning parts of 2005 to 2000 in beginning parts of 2006. Shelton's mama that was played by Thea Fisdale. I think the actress, suffered like a heart attack. Benjamin, they explained that, her mom is going through a heart surgery, but in reality, Fisdale left the company because she's got sexual harassed by someone in WWE, don't know who. Anyway, so her at the time, I think his record was. It's really funny. Like I checked it on Wikipedia that Gunther broke Shelton Benjamin's record because that time Gunther in our current timeline is still the reigning defending IC champion. He broke Shelton Benjamin's record at the time. I think it was in that 300 mark. Gunther's in. Anyway, so RVD won the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 22, Money in the Bank 2 at WrestleMania 22 the previous month. So yeah, this is a good concept. This is a good match. They did this all. They do it over the years, you know. Put someone who's Money in the Bank holder putting her or his briefcase on the line. Anyway, the match between RVD and Shelton Benjamin. This was really good. Good chemistry. Both guys, you know, in the Ruthless Aggression era. It's basically SmackDown versus Raw, even though Shelton Benjamin was at Raw at the time. But the reason why I say SmackDown, because Shelton Benjamin was on SmackDown in his early run before going to Raw. You know, they're still with Team Angle, was greatest tag team. Anyway, so this match was good. You know, RVD hit like, I think it was the springboard crossbody onto Shelton Benjamin, and then Shelton did like a sunflip powerbomb onto the floor. One about the match, you know, I think RVD, you know, trying to push Shelton Benjamin off the ropes, but he managed to jump back onto the ropes and hit the, I think it was a suplex or kind of a Falcon Arrow like move off the top rope. That was kind of good. This was really good. This is really good. Anyway, so I'm trying to keep it short and simple, folks. You know, I think like in over the past previous Backlash shows revolve around Shelton Benjamin in this time period in the Ruthless Aggression era. He's put on some good matches. You know, the previous year he had a good match against Chris Jericho, and then I think the previous year had a fought against I think it was against Ric Flair. You know, anyway, so you know not all, but some of these wrestlers, you know, he ended up having good matches with Shelton because he's a very underrated worker, Shelton Benjamin, you know. Anyway, so in the end, you know, Shelton Benjamin, I think he was, and also like in this match, the fans chanting "Mama's Boy" towards Shelton Benjamin. I forgot to mention this, you know, in the opener between Chris Masters and Carlito, the fans chanting towards Masters, "You're a meathead" and "Masters sucks." I forgot to mention that. Anyway, so in the end, I'll try to keep it short and simple, folks. You know, in the end, Shelton Benjamin, I think he was a babyface at this moment in time, or tweener. He turned full-blown heel around 08, you know, when he's doing this the gold standard gimmick. In the end, Shelton Benjamin, you know, trying to hit RVD with the with the Money in the Bank briefcase, but Van Dam, you know, hit Benjamin with the Fan Dominator while Shelton Benjamin, you know, is holding the briefcase. I think he hit Shelton Benjamin with the 5-star frog splash to win this match, and not just retain the Money in the Bank briefcase, but winning the Intercontinental Championship. I never knew that. Wow, RVD was IC champion while he was Mr. Money in the Bank. Wow, it's just like holy shit, man. But unfortunately, it never lasted long because you know RVD dropped the IC title back to Shelton Benjamin on the 15th of May's episode of Raw. So yeah, you never knew that, you know, he was IC champion because he never entered ECW 1X1006 as the, you know, as Mr. Money in the Bank and IC champion. No, he dropped the belt, you know, to Shelton Benjamin back. You know that was like a month before 1X1006. So never knew that. You know, I think he's the first guy. I think RVD become the first. I think he's only the first guy to win the title while he was Mr. Money in the Bank. I think the two guys in the history of Mr. Money in the Bank holders becoming champions, you know, is RVD and The Miz. You know, The Miz was United States champion when he was Raw Mr. Money in the Bank, you know, in 2010, you know. But I think RVD's the first guy to win the title while he's still the Mr. Money in the Bank holder, and it's just like, wow, man, never knew that, you know. But anyway, it was a really good match, you know, good chemistry. So it's a shame for Shelton Benjamin never like went into that main event scene because, you know, yeah, the one nitpick about Shelton Benjamin in his like first run in the company, you could say in a certain degree in his second run in the company, he never like got out of the mid card. You know, I think he's really good to be in that main event slot. I think the one nitpick for him is charisma. I don't want to get into it. That's another story, another time. That's my 2 cents on it. So yeah, it's a really good match between RVD and Shelton Benjamin. So moving on to the polar opposite. This is technically the worst match of the night The Big Show versus Kane. This revolved around the start of the May 19th storyline. So, like, Kane and Big Show, they were a dominant tag team on Raw. They used to be the Raw Tag Team Champions, but unfortunately, the build up to this, they dropped the World Tag Team titles to the Spirit Squad, and then they decided to do this storyline called the May 19th storyline, called May 19th. The reason why, because Kane was releasing his new movie called See No Evil, and Kane was freaking out. He's attacking people. He's trying to he's gonna almost attack Lillian Garcia, the Raw announcer, trying to chokeslam her through the table. Like the build up to this, and Kane attacked I think he, like, the rematch, they got, Kane got himself disqualified. He, like, throwing a chair in the ring, trying to chokeslam one of the members of the Spirit Squad, but attacked the Big Show. And then Big Show, got, trying to confront Kane. I think he attacked Kane with the chokeslam. It's very confusing. Like, this is a heel versus, I don't really call it heel versus heel. It's very confusing, but which one's the babyface, which one's the heel, I don't know. Anyway, so the build, like, I think it was the build up to this, Big Show said May 19th, and Kane attacked him. He injured the eye of the Big Show. It's not on the same level when Big Show had that fucking shiner after that Kendall stick match at One Night Stand 08. That's another story from another time. But anyway, so it was kind of stupid, and the build, and also the interview before this match, about Big Show says Kane has a new movie coming out. So what? I was in Waterboy. You don't see me attacking people across the country because Kane promoting his new movie. If you don't know what Waterboy is, Waterboy, that stars Adam Sandler. It's got the Big Show. At the time, he was the Giant in WCW. Anyway, so I'll refer you again. So yeah, Big Show says towards Todd Grissom that Kane's got a new movie. So what? I was in Waterboy. You don't see me going around across the country attacking people. He said maybe, I don't know what Kane's problem with May 19th. Maybe his hamster die or his puppy run away. But no, it's just the movie See No Evil. I might review that movie one day. If I find it, I think at the time the movie bombed in the box office, but I don't know, I might review that movie in the future. So let's about this match, Kane versus Big Show. The match sucked. It was a dud. 9 minutes long. It was a bit punch, kick, Big Show and Kane, no chemistry. I don't mind Kane and Big Show as a tag team, but facing each other one-on-one, no chemistry. The big guys, the 7 feet tall, the finishers are choke slam. This is before Big Show doing the knockout punch. That was like years before this. But anyway, I think like you throw Big Show. I think Big Show, Kane pushed the Big Show, throwing the Big Show out of the ring. Not throw him, but kind of like throw him out of the ring. Kane is about to leave the ring. Then suddenly the lights went red, and then you had noises. It was Kane. You could tell it's Kane's voices in the background. It's like, May 19th. You can't control me. It's happening again, Kane. This is getting fucking stupid. And then Kane is freaking out, and then in the end, Big Show walloped Kane on the head with the chair. This is years before they banned the chair shot to the head. So basically, Big Show hit Kane with the chair, hit Kane on the head with the chair. The lights went back to normal, and the referee didn't call for the bell. Big Show left, and that was it. Stupid storyline, and no one got over. And you could tell this was the beginning of the end of Big Show and Kane as a tag team. They reunited again 5 years later in 2011, where they were tag team champions, feuding with the Core and Nexus. But because both guys went on to do their separate thing, Big Show went on to go to ECW, become the ECW champion. And Kane, this is, it's still a continuation. Yeah, this was a continuation of this May 19th storyline because they introduced the imposter Kane. It was basically someone dressed up like the Attitude Era Kane, like in 97 when he debuted, 98 and 1999. Because in 2000 he kind of Kane changed up his attire, and that person was Drew Hankinson. That's the future Festus and the future Doc/Luke Gallows. That was stupid, man. Yeah, I think the storyline scrapped because I think at the time See No Evil were bombed in the box office. The storyline was stupid, and there was some rumors at the time that Glenn Jacobs, is about to retire. They would decide to reboot the character, but doing reboots in professional wrestling doesn't work. It's okay in superhero genre and horror, but in like professional wrestling, never worked. Great example: Fake Razor, Fake Diesel, and the Doinks. Anyway, let's move on to the next match. Next match. This was another stupid storyline, but this is a bit of a mixed bag of this next match. So next match, we got the McMahons, Vince and Shane McMahon taking on Shawn Michaels and God. Oh, technically this is a tag team match. My apologies. So Vince and Shane versus Shawn Michaels and God. This was during this storyline between Vince McMahon and versus God. Vince McMahon versus God. Still in this storyline, this rivalry between the McMahons and Shawn Michaels. So the build up to this, Vince was doing his own religion called McMahonism. There was a segment on Raw. Vince and Shane went to the church. Vince is messing around with holy water. And then the Wrath of God, is attacking Vince. There was pyro, exploded on the ring post, on the stage. Vince believed that's not got the Wrath of God. It's some, circumstances, coincidence, strange coincidence. Sorry, I'm speaking too fast, by the way. He's not believed that was the Wrath of God. Yeah, doing this story, that storyline's stupid. These the Ruthless Aggression Era storylines, whether it's Katie Thick and this, doesn't age well. It's just never. I got they never do this, man. It's just like you're gonna end up you end up pissing off the wrong people because you're gonna offend a lot of people because a lot of people are Christians. Some are atheists, some are worship like a different religion, whether it's Muslim, not Muslim. If they're Muslim or Jewish or Sikh or Hindu, whatever religion they worship. You don't want to do that, man. It's just so I can't really say controversial. You had some. It's kind of funny seeing Vince messing around with the holy water, but besides that, it's just like it doesn't really serve a purpose. I'm trying to keep it short and simple. I'm kind of rambling, but it's kind of like a stupid storyline. Never aged well. I like some Ruthless Aggression Era stuff, but this is like the stuff with Katie Thick and this. And it's just like, it's just kind of like, it goes too far. I know they're pushing the envelope, but yeah, like I say, it just goes too far sometimes. I don't want to get into it. So anyway, Vince, I think that at this moment in time he was covered in a fake tan because at the time he did like a fitness. It was a fitness magazine shoot. I think it's not Muscle and Fitness. I think it was Flex magazine. I don't know what the magazine is. Anyway, so he came out. He challenged God. He wants to call out God instead of a guy dressing up like God. They shut down the lights, and then there was this massive beaming bright light coming down to the ring. Then Vince challenged God to a dance-off, and then Vince is dancing. I thought it was Brody's Clay theme music, Somebody's Called My Mama. This is a different version of that song, Anyway, then out comes Shawn Michaels, and anyway, let's talk about this match, Despite all this bad storyline, you had a bad ending, we'll get to that later on, but I think it was a fun match, One more of the match, Shawn Michaels kind of like crossbody Vince McMahon off the stage and into, I think it was like a I think it was some kind of table below the stage. And by the way, Vince McMahon at the time was in his 60s. I think he was 60, 61. Kudos to Vince. Take that bump. And yeah, in one part of the match, I think Shane hit Shawn with the chair. They kind of used one of the Backlash pay-per-view set as a weapon, the swinging hooks. Anyway, so Shane hit Shawn with the chair on the head. That caused Shawn bleed. Shawn was bleeding buckets, and also one of Shawn's blood was on Shane McMahon's t-shirt. Anyway, so then Vince grabbed the mic. Said he kind of grabbed the mic and said to, "Why you going, God? Why you going? And where's God? There is nobody. Like I said, the storyline is stupid and dumb. Anyway, so Shawn hit I think Vince was going for his version of switching music, but Shawn countered it. He battles back. I think he hit him with a flying forearm. I don't think Shawn hit the switching music on Vince. He hit it on Shane. In the end, and also they're doing the callback to Vince and not Vince and Shane, Shawn and Vince at WrestleMania 22. Shawn plays both Vince and Shane onto the tables. He grabbed the Toys ladder. I think he did the suck it chance. We'll get to more of that later on. Anyway, he was about to put both Vince and Shane through the table. I think it was a leg drop or a diving elbow. It's one or the other. Out comes members of the Spirit Squad. We got Kenny. That's Kenny Dystra. Johnny. We got Mitch, who's part of Tough Enough 4. The same Tough Enough 4 with The Miz and Ryback. I think he died. No, he's still alive. He's 40 years old. Wow, shit. Mitch, Nikki. Nikki is the future Dolph Ziggler, by the way, and Mikey. Anyway, so Shawn jumped off the ladder and through and onto all 5 members of the Spirit Squad. Well, this is the start of doing these crappy gimmicks, with wrestlers with crappy gimmicks. This is mid 2000s Ruthless Aggression era. I might I might do that video. That's in the future, by the way. So male cheerleaders, man. Anyway, actually, I'll get to that. I'll get to that after this match. So anyway, Shawn, after he jumped off the ladder onto the 5 members of the Spirit Squad outside the ring. Then the numbers game cut off. Really catch up on Shawn. The Spirit Squad attack. Shawn Michaels, and then they hit a 5-man powerbomb onto Shawn Michaels. That was a cool. It's not on the same level as the Shield bomb or the triple threat powerbomb. It's kind of like you throw that opponent off the air and slam him onto the ground or onto the table. Yeah, he kind of tossed Shawn Michaels in the air and onto the table. So Vince pins Shawn Michaels to win this match. Basically, it was designed so Vince gets win back because Shawn defeat Vince McMahon at WrestleMania in that hardcore match, or Noel's Bard, whatever you call it. And in that match, you had Shane joining his dad's Kiss My Ass Club. So yeah, this is still a continuation of the rivalry because they continue this rivalry throughout the summer and into the autumn of 2006. So, and anyway, when Vince pins Shawn Michaels, Jim Ross says, "Oh, that's bullshit," they bleeped out Jim Ross swearing, and also Vince sweared during this match. It also got bleeped. Anyway, despite all the it's hard to really say it. It's this is mixed bag of the stupid storyline with this God thing and the Spirit Squad. I think it's still a fun match. I think I think Shawn, Vince, and Shane kind of deliver a fun match to watch. Nothing. It's not going to be a 4-star classic, but it was fun for what it is. So glad they stopped doing the God storyline. It's stupid and offensive. So let's move on to. Before we get, I also forgot to mention this, anyway, I think this is the first time JR and the King called a pay-per-view, because for months now it was JR, I think it was JR and Joey Styles, because the build up to this, I think it was not too long. I think it's during the build to this or after this, Joey Styles did the shoot promo or work shoot promo, he quit the company because he's not being utilized as a commentator, He's not good. He's not good enough to call Backlash. He's not good enough to call WrestleMania. He came back months later when ECW was brought back as a third brand, and the rest is history. I forgot to mention that. So, anyway, before we get to the main event, there was one segment. This revolved around Matt Striker and Eugene. Basically Matt Striker, is bashing the state of Kentucky for not being smart. The smart states, it's home for Kentucky Fried Chicken and illegal basketball players, I think he said, or illegal baseball players, one or the other. So he calls up Eugene. Eugene hugs Striker. Striker pushed him back, and he wants him to spell his own name. And then suddenly Eugene's just typed in, Matt Striker loves poop. I'm not gonna put this in the overall. I'm not gonna do it. I'm going to leave it out when I do my overall thoughts, the overall rating of the show. But besides that, I said in my previous pay-per-view reviews, doing segments on pay-per-views just did not work, because it just come across doing this. This should belong on Raw, not on a pay-per-view. But I think the fans really, the fans really got behind Eugene. They were engaged of this segment. You could say it kind of serve a purpose, but anyway. And then Eugene's about to pick his nose, and then Matt Striker told him to do not pick his nose, and he's about to eat the booger. By the way, he's trying to eat his snot/booger, and Eugene put the booger in the mouth of Matt Striker and hit Striker with the Stone Cold Stunner. And that was it. So, I don't know. For me, personally, I thought it's going to be a bad segment, But besides that, the fans got into it, It was fun. But I'm not going to put it in the good, by the way. I'm going to talk about it anyway. But, it's just what it is, Killing time on the pay-per-view. It kind of served the purpose. I think it's lasted about 5 minutes. It didn't really hurt, it hurt the main event. And speaking of the main event, this is a triple threat match for the WWE Championship. John Cena defending the belt against Triple H and Edge. I wish they'd done it at WrestleMania, but because here's the reason why. So John Cena retained the WWE Championship against Triple H at the main event at WrestleMania 22. Edge had that epic hardcore fight, a hardcore match against Mick Foley, when Edge spear Foley through the ropes onto the burning table. Anyway, so I think the build up to this, I think they beat each other in single matches. Triple H beat John Cena, and then Edge beats Triple H, and then Cena beat Edge. Anyway, so this match is really good. It's got to be in the top 5 best triple threat matches of all time. It's got the same vibe like the Backlash triple threat match from 2 years ago between Benoit, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. Everyone had their moments in this match. One more of the match was between John Cena and Triple H. The fans were booing John Cena out of the building. Anyway, and then the next moment is John Cena Edge versus Triple H. Everyone will look good in this match. Triple H bled buckets in this match. One more of the match, Edge kind of catapult Triple H onto the ring pose, and Triple H was bleeding. Oh my! I'll get to more of that later on. Cena was going to make Triple H tap out, locked in the STFU. But I think Triple H countered it, trying to counter it, but Cena still locking the hold onto Triple H. But I think Edge did a move off the top rope to break up the submission hold, and then Cena did the same submission hold onto Edge, and then Triple H whacked Cena on top of the head with the microphone, and I thought Triple H will passed out, man. Wow, this Triple H is bleeding. That is a violent spot when he hit his head on the ring post and bled crazily. It's funny that 2 years later they end up banning blood and end up and also he ended up like no, sorry, yeah, 2 years later they end up banning blood, and the company went PG. And 2 years earlier he allowed to bleed. It's a shame. Like, it's funny, like, almost, like the previous week, in our current timeline, in the match between Edge and Finn Balor at WrestleMania 39, Night 2 in Hell in a Cell, Balor got busted wide open, and I think they stopped the match because Balor was busted wide open. It's a shame. I hope, people want to see the match. People want to see the color. Blood tells a good story. Anyway, and then Edge hits Triple H with the execution onto the table. Anyway, Cena in this match never hit the FU. The FU become the attitude adjustment. He didn't. I think some of the match, he was going for the FU. I feel like he's trying to hit the FU onto Triple H, but Edge spears Cena. And then I think he trying to do it again with Edge, but instead Triple H, low blows Cena. Like, Lita did got involved, like one more of the match, Cena was going for like the 5-knuckle shuffle, but Lita hold on the ropes, Cena fell out of the ring. Anyway, so yeah, Cena never hit the FU onto both on both Triple H or Edge. Anyway, so Lita took a bullet. He's trying to hit I think he hit Cena or Edge with the chair, but Triple H hit Lita with the spine buster. Anyway, so in the end, Triple H was going for the pedigree, but instead Cena counted into a jackknife roll-up for the win. Afterwards, Triple H attacked Cena and Edge with the sledgehammer, did the DX cross chop. It's funny, like, earlier in the match between technically it was a handicap match, between Shawn Michaels, Vince and Shane. Shawn also did the cross chop. I think he did it at WrestleMania. It's hinting that DX is going to return for the first time since the year 2000 in the Attitude Era. Yeah, I know they brought it back I know they did it in 2002, but that was more of a swerve that leading up to Triple H turning heel, and then you end up like forming Evolution, But I'm talking about that was not really a full-on reunion. It was a brief reunion because it was set up, Triple H, Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam of 2002. So this is leading up to Triple H turning babyface, because I thought this is leading up to a rematch down the road between John Cena and Triple H, but unfortunately that's not the case because the night after Backlash, it was Cena versus Kenny Dystra. I think it was the Raw when Joey Styles did that work shoot promo. Triple H was the referee. He's refereeing the Cena Kenny. I know it's Kenny Dystra, but Kenny was. I think he was represent the Spirit Squad. He walked away during this match. Shawn Michaels filling in. It's funny, like in the rest of 06, everyone moved their separate ways. Not John Cena and Edge, because it's funny, like later that summer, Triple H turned babyface, and they formed DX, he ended up feuding with the Spirit Squad and the McMahons. Cena, this is the last time Cena retained the WWE Championship on pay-per-view, because 2 months later, at 1X10.06, he dropped the WWE title to Rob Van Dam after the help by Edge, and then Edge won the belt back in July after RVD was suspended, got busted by drug possession, and then it's funny, the rest of 06, Triple H turned babyface and reunited with Shawn Michaels to form DX to feud with the McMahons and Spirit Squad. John Cena and Edge went on to have one of the best rivalries, not just in 06, but in the Ruthless Aggression era. The rest of 06 in WWE, in the red brand, turned out to be okay. My final rating for Backlash 06, I'm going to be generous. I'm going to give it... hard to really say this about this. I'm going to give it I'll give it 7.5 out of 10. I think it's genuine. I almost give it a 6, but I give it 7.5. I think it was a decent show. The only thing in the bad for me it was the women's title match when Trish suffered an injury in that match against Mickie James, dislocated her shoulder, and that crappy match between Kane and Big Show. The God stuff in the Shawn Michaels Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon handicap match. I'll call it a handicap match, not a tag team match. Was goofy, and the ending was a bit bullshit. You know, just a continuation of the rivalry between Sean, Vince, and Shane, leading up to the reformation of D-Generation X. The only match in the OK was Ric Flair and Umaga. It was kind of there for putting over Umaga. The first pay-per-view match with his new character, you know, for Eddie Fatu. But the good is the good. I think the good was the good. Not an all-time classic. It's not like, wow, I need to go back to watch Backlash 06 again. But it was, some fun, decent matches. You know, the opening was decent for what it is. Carlito versus Chris Masters. I liked that really good match between RVD, Shelton Benjamin. I call it the handicap match. Vince and Shane versus Shawn Michaels and God. Not really. Despite of that ending and the God-like stuff, it was still a fun match to watch, and the triple threat match was awesome to watch. It was awesome. You know, got to be in the top 5 best triple threat matches of all time. So yeah, I give it 7.5 for what it is. So anyway, hope you enjoyed my review of Backlash 06. What's your thoughts on the show? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button, click the like, click the bell, subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube. Be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more next time. So let's review not Backlash. Let's review Payback 2016, the first pay-per-view of the new era. We're still in the new era in our current timeline. Until then.